Buildings come with limitations. There's three dimensions to them. There's a fourth dimension, and that fourth dimension is time. And we get the opportunity to add to the space that we have by utilizing it more often. And I want to talk just a little bit, tell you a little story. I pastored in Kaneohe, Hawaii for 27 years. Church grew to a couple thousand. We started a whole bunch of churches around the world. That, by the way, is another way of expanding space. Whenever you plant a church, you can handle more people. You've added capacity, but you can add more capacity by thinking through the time dimension. In the big church in Kaneohe, we had 7 services on a weekend. The church that I'd pastored in California before that, I think we had 4 services on a weekend, if I can remember. We had a lot of space there. But as we left that church, handed it off to a younger generation, a bunch of us old folks got together, and surprisingly, a bunch of Gen Xers and a few millennials. And we started out with about 80 people. We rented a movie theater, cost us $500 an hour. Actually, started out about $300 an hour. And they gave us 3 auditoriums, or 3 screens, 3 movie auditoriums, and a small lobby. And that worked well until we began to grow a little bit. And then we needed more. And so we asked for 2 more auditoriums. We got 5, and we got 2 lobbies. And we're really into hanging out after church and eating food. And we had people bringing stuff every week. We never even really asked for it. Just the volunteers just started bringing it. Toward the end, we got big enough that we had to start bringing, paying for food and all that. But this was a very exciting church for me to pastor. And very quickly, though, one guy who was real faithful and just very complimentary, real, kind person, came up on a Sunday morning and said, "I won't be here anymore, Pastor. My job has changed." So I asked him what time he went to work, and he told me. And so we decided we would start another service for this one guy. I mean, we got these auditoriums. We really rented the extra auditoriums just to have the bigger lobby. Eventually, one of the millennials among us started a junior high school group, and they started a high school group. We began to utilize those auditoriums much more effectively than just a place to put our children on a Sunday morning. And we decided we're going to start the service for this one guy. And it's pretty easy. If I'm preaching, all I got to do is a little warm up, sit down, do a Bible study in the beginning anyway. That's what it started as, was a Bible study. And then go do my sermon later, and I've had some practice. And so that worked out really well. The problem was we couldn't get anybody there to lead singing. Now, I say the word singing instead of worship because I think worship is a 24/7 Romans 12 deal. But we couldn't get anybody to lead singing. And so we made announcements for several weeks. We'd set a date that we're going to start. And we started praying for 5 people to show up that first time. That'd be my wife, I, and this other man. And then hopefully 2 more people would show up so we wouldn't just feel too alone in an auditorium that will hold about 120 people, to give you just a little bit of context. Finally, a friend of mine who's German-Austrian, who had the accent and the whole thing, agreed to come and be the song leader for us. Eventually, what we got out of that was he taught us all how to sing "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God" in German, which was kind of a cool thing. And 8 people showed up that first Sunday. We were just out of our minds with praise to the Lord that we didn't look stupid on that first Sunday morning, but we were utilizing time. Suddenly the cost of all those 5 theaters went down because there was another offering. The extra time brought another offering, small one, but for sure a real one. And then it grew, and it eventually grew to about 80 people. The church grew to about 300. I was only there for about 5 years. We started to plant churches. We started 8 churches. Several of those are in Kenya, by the way. And so this whole idea of utilizing that fourth dimension of time. If I was starting a church today, I would have multiple services on the weekend, not just on Sunday. We did Friday night, Saturday night, actually did 2 Saturday nights, plus several on Sundays. I'd do all of that, but I'd for sure have a Thursday night service. NFL does that. I would want to do that. And I think I'd have probably like a Wednesday morning thing or something, because there's a lot of elderly people who don't really like the big service on the Sundays. They don't like night services. They like to drive in the daytime. I've found that they are faithful people. They need to be served. And here's just another way that we can utilize time. I'd like to ask a favor. I'm going to ask this fairly often. For one, subscribe. But the second favor is please use the comments box. I know that some of you watching this have done things or seen things that are creative, that are different than what I'm talking about. Please let us know. Thank you.